And action!
When we started the film program here at Ringling College, about, I guess it was 11 years ago now, one of the things that we wanted to try to figure out is how could we make it different from all the other film programs, because there's a lot of film programs out there. We started brainstorming some ideas, and one of them was to figure out a way to get producers and directors and actors and so forth involved with the college. Because I said, you know, we don't have any name people here, so how do we build this? And so we talked a lot about it, and we thought what would be ideal is having a situation where students would be able to work on the set with different producers, directors, and so forth, and bringing those films to Sarasota.
There's nothing like doing it for learning. You know, you can learn so much in a classroom, but it's only when you're there physically doing it that you really learn how things are done and what the best way of doing them, the most efficient way, and the most beneficial way to correct things if things go wrong or if something doesn't turn up or the weather changes, or it's all those things that you can't really simulate in a classroom.
I'm the props master, and I handle anything an actor touches. So like anywhere from weapons to like a pen to we have like a tattoo gun, a baseball bat, things like that. I'm in charge of getting those, like sourcing them to be created, and then making sure they're on set when they need to be.
So it was Dylan McDermott who wanted to do a web series kind of thing, was the first one. And then Kevin Smith got involved, and again, this was all done through SEMCOR with David Shapiro. Kevin Smith got involved, and he came down, and we were originally going to make a web series for him, and then it turned into a full production, a full motion picture production.
So I like the idea of doing shorts, which is what David was like. We did shorts with Justin, we did the short with Dylan. But I was like, yeah, that's totally cool, and I get it. I said, but, you know, kids don't go to short school. You know, they come to film school. And like, let's make a film. Like, let's put it together, even if we have to break it up over a couple different trips. It's the same principle. Like, if it's an anthology film, then you're just doing shorts anyway. So you can kind of make one and then walk away and make another walk away. And suddenly, I was able to marry what he wanted to do with what I know we can do and have done as well.
The more of these things we were doing, and the more that the Hollywood found out about it, the more excited they got. So we went from zero, okay, from the beginning. Remember, we were a new film school. And then in about 3, 4, 5 years, we moved to in the top 25 of film schools in the US. And then we moved to the top 16, and now we're at the top 15. Okay, we're announced that we're in the top 15. So that has brought a lot of attention to Ringling College that nobody who was looking at film would have ever seen before.
Okay. Everybody back in your positions, please.
You're right. Florida's at a major disadvantage because it does not have incentives for filmmakers to be here. The county has some incentives, which is helpful, but it's still minor when you compare it to a place like Georgia. So Georgia's eating our lunch in terms of having films come to that state.
I would like to go to probably Atlanta when I graduate. It just seems more fiscally responsible to go to Atlanta before you go to like LA or something.
It's a real failing in this state because they don't understand the incredible economic value of this, of having films be in the state. But you know, it is what it is, and so the way we sort of work around it here at Ringling is that we offer a number of different opportunities. One of them is a great facilities that we also have access to these incredibly creative young people who are very bright, very motivated, and we'll work with them as part of the crew. And you know, they need to, you know, still be supervised. You still have to have some professionals involved, but you don't have to have the same number that you would have to have with this thing with students. And of course, students are getting academic credit as part of their experiences. It's basically an internship where they don't have to go away. That they're here working on the films in Sarasota.
I think more projects should be coming to Florida. I mean, we have like pretty much like a variety of landscapes. So you can go like to the jungle or to the beach or to like warehouses like this, and it kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of cool how you know, I wouldn't ever think about shooting a warehouse thing in Florida, but here we are doing it. So,
like, feel free to come up to me with any suggestions you have. Like, I'm not right about any of this shit. It's all guesswork and it's all opinion. It's all taste. So if you see something where you're like, I think this would be better, tell me, because I will get credit for it anyway. So like, feel free to just share with me. It makes the whole thing better overall. It's
a really good way for older technicians and professionals to also give a little bit back. You know, the film industry's notoriously selfish in terms of not really, you know, passing on information, because people never, you know, they always feel that their proprietary brand is going to be sort of stolen. So I think it's a very nice thing to encourage people to come in and help younger people coming up to, you know, make them accelerate through the path a little bit quicker. So I think it's a good thing.
As my friend Mark was going, you made a movie with Alan Rickman. I was like, and now I'm making a movie with the kids in Sarasota. Like, what's the difference? Like, Alan Rickman was just a big kid wanting to play. These kids, they're just big kids wanting to play. Like, when you boil it all down fundamentally, I'm still working the same caliber of people I've always worked with. People who want to be there. Not a motherfucker who's cashing a check or somebody who's just like, this is an assignment. There's a passion for it there.
And we cut! Give it up!
There, all right.